Hi, I'm the Asian sensation Kanji. You're listening to Queen's Court.
Hi guys, this is the Queen of Queens Visage talking, and I am so happy to introduce you to the Queen's Court.
What is going on, everyone? It is Anthony DeStefano, your host of the 2019 Wrestle Hub Wrestling Podcast Awards, reminding you that voting ends on the 25th of November, so there is still time to vote for your favorite podcast. Go over to the Wrestle Hub on Twitter to vote, and don't miss the award show December the 8th live on YouTube. If you want to support the awards, go over to patreon.com/the Wrestle Hub PA to support. We will see you the 8th, and thank you for keeping wrestling real.
Hello, my darlings, and happy Thanksgiving from Queenie to you. This week's episode of Queen's Court is all about Survivor Series with my pal, Kurt. All right, guys, happy Thanksgiving to you all. It is only one day away, as this is your favorite day, Wednesday. Queen's Court's dropping one half of the hashtag Queen and Pup Connection. Yes, honey. Wednesdays we wear purple. I know you've already listened to JPQ's episode today, and if you haven't, then I know it's in the queue right after mine, right? Of course it is. Anywho, for my stateside friends, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're ready to enjoy all that turkey, beer, and football tomorrow. You know your girl is. I'm cooking for my whole squad, my whole fam. I'm really excited. I'm hosting. It's going to be a really great time. I'm really looking forward to it. For those of you who are not from the States, Thanksgiving is our holiday in November. We have a good time. As I mentioned, it's all about turkey, stuffing, family, and football with beer. So it's a good time. And by football, of course, I mean American football, not football, the real football, which is soccer to us Americans. But you guys, listen, it's Thanksgiving here. And my tradition in my family is we always say what we're thankful for in 2019. And, you know, I have a lot of things to be thankful for. I'm really thankful for Mr. Queen for supporting this podcasting venture ever since this kind of started at the beginning of February. So, Mr. Queen, to you, I just want to say thank you so much, my darling dear, for all your love and support as I've taken this podcasting journey. I want to say a huge, massive thank you to Pops from DYWTSB for finding me amongst the tweeters during Royal Rumble weekend, and for seeing something in what I had to say online to pulling me into podcasting and giving me my spot that I have on DYWTSB. And I want to say thank you to you specifically for that. I also want to say a huge thanks to you both, Pops and Mort, for the awesome friendship that we've built since podcasting together this year. You guys are the greatest, and it's so much fun speaking with you guys every week about wrestling. It's just hanging out with your best friends, having a great old chat, and it's been really an enjoyable experience. So I want to thank you both for everything you've done for me in 2019. Another huge thank you to my former Brain Buster Radio crew. You know, you guys know that I spoke about it a little bit, and I'm not getting into it now again. But I it's hard to say fully how much I appreciate these boys. These are my boys, you know. It's my squad, my crew that I still DM and talk to every single day. And of course, you've heard them all in my shows, and they will all be returning and coming back. It's just been such an awesome time. Their love and support of me as a brand new podcaster, as someone who's never been on the mic solo before, this was a huge, huge deal. And their friendship means very, very much to me. I love and support them all. So my BBR crew, my squad goals, thank you. I'm very thankful for you guys. I know not all of you celebrate Thanksgiving, but you're getting it anyway. I also want to give a special shout out to two individuals. Firstly, to Anthony from Smark to Death. You know, I've told him this both privately and I've said it publicly, but I'll say it again. You know, Anthony's show, Smark to Death, is what got me into wrestling Twitter. It's why I turned my Twitter into a wrestling Twitter page. I joined the Discord, and here I am today. So, Anthony, I just want to say thanks for being so welcoming to someone who, you didn't know at all in your Discord and on Twitter, of course. And now I'm so thankful to get to call you my friend and to get to speak with you sometimes. How honored I am to come on Smart to Death with you every now and then and co-host with you about whatever it is we're going to talk about that week. It's an honor, man. Mags likes to call you the gold standard, and you certainly are. So I just want to say thank you for your friendship, and thank you for inspiring me to join this amazing community, because without your podcast, Queen wouldn't be here today. So thank you, pal. And last but not least, I know we're not surprised, my pal and yours, Mr. JPQ. I just want to say I never expected to join wrestling Twitter and join these Discords and start a podcast, of course. But to you, pal, I never expected to find a best friend, my best CPQ, my homeboy. It's nice, and that's an understatement, to be your friend, to be in your presence. You make me a better person. You make me a better podcaster. And dude, your friendship has meant so much to me this year, and I cannot wait for many more years to come of being the besties, the hashtag Queen and Pup Connection. So thank you, JPQ, for all that you do and your inspiration and your friendship. And now, dear listeners, a huge thank you to you guys. 2019 is wild. Queenie is not going to stop saying it, y'all, until 2019 is over. Okay, 2019 is wild. If you had asked me this time last year if I thought I'd have my own podcast and be on another podcast and have these side projects and side ventures, man, I would have called you crazy. And here we are today. I've had such a wonderful, wonderful experience podcasting. It has been an enormous amount of fun, you guys. I can't even tell you. All the adventures that we've had on Queen's Court together and all the interactions we've had on Twitter, all of the fun pay-per-views we've watched, all the shows that I've gotten to go to, all of you that I've got to meet in real life. You guys, it's just crazy. The collabs, the love on the episodes, the unique stuff, the inspiration. It's been a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm so, so thankful for DYWTSB and for Queen's Court and for all of you. You guys know who you are on Twitter. Y'all mean a lot to me. All my friends, all the people that I interact with, my acquaintances. Thank you. Thank you for supporting Queen's Court. Thank you for supporting your girl, the Queen of NE. And cheers to you guys. I'm going to have a couple White Claws just for you tomorrow. So thank you. But that's enough of the sentiment, honey. Okay, before Queenie starts crying, because Queenie's a softie. All right, it's a true story. I know I sound like a bad bitch, and I am. Don't mistake me. Don't come for me. But I got a soft side. I cry too sometimes. It's okay to cry. All right. But this episode is all about Survivor Series. And I have my pal Kurt, who hasn't made his return to the castle until right now. I'm so excited to have him. So listen, strap in, babies. We about to be on this wild ride of breaking down Survivor Series 2019 on Queen's Court. All right, everyone. Welcome back from that quick little introduction. And here we are to talk all things Survivor Series 2019. Yes, so excited to discuss it. But of course, I'm not alone. I have a pal we haven't had on Queen's Court in a while, and especially not since we got a new castle. So I'm so excited to have Mr. Kurt. Sir Kurt, you're back on Queen's Court from Ringsider Pod and the brand new Kurt's Angle. Woo! What's up, Kurt?
Hey, Queen. Thank you for having me. So excited about this. It's been way too long, to be honest. Yeah, as soon as I decided I wanted to be back and I got that bug, you was essentially the first person I reached out to, and I was like, yo, we need to collab. We need to do stuff together again. And yeah, we've both been quite busy. We've got it together, and what a perfect time to be speaking about Survivor Series, which knocked it out of the park for me. I thought it was absolutely incredible, and yeah, it's my favourite queen that I get to chat to it about.
That's all right. I'm so excited to have you here. You're back, and you're right. We had a really neat, awesome pay-per-view weekend, not only with Survivor Series, but with War Games as well. Just now that it's over, it has been a couple of days. You said you really thought it knocked it out of the park, but speak to how you feel now a few days later. Do you think it was, as some people are saying, WWE's best pay-per-view thus far of 2019?
Potentially, to be honest. I think it's always difficult to say because of, Royal Rumbles and WrestleManias. You get caught up in those two hypes, but certainly away from those two big pay-per-views, where no matter what the card is for WrestleMania, you're always hyped because it's WrestleMania. It's a spectacle. Royal Rumble, it speaks for itself. It's my favorite pay-per-view of the year is the Royal Rumble. It's my favorite match style because of how exciting it can be and all the surprises. But I think this is the best Survivor Series, dare I say, in the past decade. Like, it had everything. And the booking decisions went brilliantly as well. It wasn't... I wasn't left with a bad taste in my mouth, but then I didn't feel that they polished and made NXT look too golden either. So I thought it was a perfect blend, and I thought it was a perfect build. I've not seen Raw yet, so I don't know what the fallout is. But yeah, for me, really enjoyed Survivor Series. When I've spoken about it to my colleagues, I'm like, you need to check it out. It was really good. And in its own right, it measured up with TakeOver War Games. Like, War Games is incredible because of War Games. But I think WWE, they stepped it up, and I think they made it. I've seen more positive than negatives online.
Yeah, and I think so too. As one of the the major 4 pay-per-views that we have from WWE, and obviously Rumble and Mania, like you said, or that's the tops. You always get some kind of like feeling and hype and excitement, especially for Mania, because it's Mania. It's hard to beat that level of excitement. But I thought this one did a really good job. I think from top to bottom, aside from a couple of things that I really just didn't like or agree with, I was relatively pleased by the end of the pay-per-view. I was surprised at myself going, wow, I kind of really liked that. There was a lot of things in here, so much to unpack. But I thought one of the things overall, before we get started talking about the 2-hour kickoff show, I really thought it was well-paced. Did you find that with this pay-per-view as well?
Yes, actually. And not as, like, even the matches as well. I think the wrestlers paced themselves brilliantly. Like, for example, I know I'm skipping a little bit forward and I won't say the outcome, but the women's 5-on-5-on-5, which was the first match on the official show, that went 28 minutes, but it didn't feel like 28 minutes. It felt like a long match, but not long in a negative way. And they've kept the crowd so hot and so invested, and I felt like they did that consistently. Keep going. And yeah, the match structures I thought was fantastic. They had them in the right places for when the crowd was getting a little bit tired. Here they go again. That shot of adrenaline. And yeah, I thought they did a fantastic job with the match structure. I was just kind of glad Brock and Ray didn't headline, and having the women headline was fantastic. And yeah, a really well-paced match. Show, should I say.
Yeah, that's what I liked, I think, excuse me, the best was, even though it had so many matches on the card, I still felt like it ended at a nice normal time for WWE pay-per-view. They do tend sometimes to run very, very long. I saw a ton of things on Twitter like, oh my God, I'll be lucky if I go to bed by 4 a.m., all this stuff, right? And I really thought they did an excellent job with the pacing, but there were a few surprises, especially on this 2-hour kickoff show, which for me, 2 hours says a lot, but they did have 3 matches. And they started off with this tag team battle royale for the Tag Team World Cup. And I'm sitting here listening to them announce it, and I'm going, wait a minute, what's going on? We're having a tag team thing? There's a trophy? I was like, what's going on? But sure enough, they had a cross-branded battle royale, of course, with teams from Raw and NXT and SmackDown, of course, as it is Survivor Series. We had the OC, the Street Profits, and Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins on Raw. We had the Revival, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, and Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode. And then we had Breezango, the Forgotten Sons, and Imperium, 2 members of them representing NXT. So it was pretty stacked battle royale, as you might expect. There was some chaos ensuing rather early. Lots of crazy things happened in this match. And of course, the winners ended up being Ziggler and Roode. When you saw that this was happening on the pre-show, were you surprised as everybody else?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. And I don't think it was for the trophy. I think the trophy's from what Gallows and Anderson.
Okay, good. So I was going to say, what the hell?
Yeah, they won that at Crown Jewel. I think I've still not watched Crown Jewel.
Oh, yeah, I haven't watched it either.
So all I knew was they was now known as the best tag team in the world, and sometimes they showed a trophy. So I think it was just there because Gallows and Anderson was involved. But it was a fun match. It was nice to see Imperium in it from NXT UK and the NXT brand. It was surprising, to be honest, with who won. I was struggling to see who would win that match. For me, not having Gallows and Anderson win it was quite a negative, especially when they've just won a similar style thing and became the best tag team in the world. So, what was your thoughts on the outcome?
I'm sad I didn't give it to Street Profits, personally. Yep. I think they've been having so much fun, especially as they've been, as I playfully call them, the narrators of Raw, the hype men of Raw. And they've, had some really cool moments as of late. And I thought this was a great opportunity to showcase them. It's just not the choice that they went with. However, thinking about Roode and Ziggler, I can kind of see why they would do it. They of course are with King Corbin right now, so it seems a little bit on brand to have them win that, as they're trying to serve a higher purpose for SmackDown. And plus, I think they wanted each brand to have a win, so they give it to SmackDown, I guess. I don't know. I was a little surprised because they were champions, so I guess I can't be too surprised, but I don't know. It's just an odd pairing for me, personally, those two. But, they're wrestling, so I guess it's better than them chilling in the back, right?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I can see it with the ego styles, but to me, they've got 2 different types of egos. Like, when you're thinking of Robert Roode and his biggest ego, it was like the It Factor stuff in TNA. And it's not... I'm just disappointed what they're doing with Roode, to be honest. It's such a waste.
I know,
it
right? It
makes me sad. I don't like it.
It is. It's just not... I don't know. He definitely could be in a different position right now. And they're just... I don't know. I feel like ever since he's come up to, or quote unquote come up to, because now I just think it's a lateral move. But
I think
since he's joined...
Move.
Well... Yeah, I think so too. If we're gonna get real, Kurt, we can get real. Talk about NXT being the #1 brand. But for those who are feeling the other way, I feel like ever since he's come to Raw and SmackDown, it just hasn't been, I guess, what people who are fans of Robert Roode would like it to be, put it that way. I think they had some gold there for the U.S. champion, but it just didn't catch enough steam. I don't know. I'm disappointed too. So I understand. But next we had a Cruiserweight Championship match, which I guess they had kind of talked about happening. I wasn't sure it was going to be triple threat, but sure enough, it's a triple threat because, of course, Survivor Series, so we have to have 3. And we have Akira Tozawa on Raw, and Lio Rush, the champion, on NXT, and Kalisto from SmackDown. This match was pretty much what I expected it would be. A lot of high-flying, early action, fast and furious, and... I wish this had, for me, a little bit more oomph. I kind of had bigger expectations, and I was a little bit like, wah. I didn't, for some reason, I didn't feel like there was any reason for them to be fighting, really. No serious backstory. There was no, obviously the stakes were the championship, but I just didn't feel like it was, I don't know, exciting. Like, what's the point? Was the Cruiserweight Championship really going to go to either SmackDown or Raw? I didn't think so. So for me, it was kind of like, oh, well, Leo's going to retain easy. What did you think about this match?
I was the same. Like, at this point, I think it was about 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock here in the UK. And like I mentioned before I went on the air, I've not been well, so I thought, right, I'm just going to put it on. I'm going to lay in bed, see what happens. And yeah, it didn't keep me on the edge of, well, my bed, really. For the three that was involved, they should be trying to steal the show. But like you said, we've just had the NXT title go back, well, the Cruiserweight title go to NXT. I couldn't see Akira Tozawa really going to NXT because I think he'd get kind of lost there, so they keep him on Raw where he can just have a match every now and again. Kalisto's obviously got the Lucha House Party, so yeah, like you said, Rush was always going to defend. They didn't do anything too extravagant. I understand why they had to have a triple threat with Raw and SmackDown, but I wouldn't have minded if they threw in a couple more people and make it a bit more action-packed where it's not going to be predictable with a Lio Rush win.
Yeah. I don't know. It was okay for me. It wasn't like anything super stellar. But again, it is the kickoff show, so I didn't expect, a lot of stuff. But I did expect them to show out a little bit more. The Cruiserweights for me are always that match where they shine really high and no one really pays attention, which I always feel bad for them for. But be that as it may, they were not the last match of the pre-show. The last match of the pre-show was the Viking Raiders versus the Undisputed Era, my boys, and the New Day for this, brand supremacy tag team championship match. I was surprised this was on the kickoff show, not the main card. Were you?
Yes, when I saw this on the pre-show, to be honest, this is why I watched the pre-show. I probably wouldn't have watched it otherwise. And as I'm on Twitter and I'm like just scrolling through as I do, see what's happening, and I saw that this match was on the pre-show, and I was like, oh shit, looks like I'm watching the pre-show. So I sat there, watched 2 hours of the pre-show just for this match, to be honest. And I think that's a testament to the three teams involved, because I thought they deserve to be on the main show. They deserve to have a jam-packed crowd cheering them on, not people that have just found the seats.
Yeah, I felt the same exact way. Especially, it was so nice to see Undisputed on a WWE pay-per-view showing out. And it's great. And I too had hoped that they would be on the main card. Sadly, that was not their choice. I can understand, right? They want to get that fast-paced energy right before the pay-per-view begins. But given a couple of matches that happened later, I was like, ooh, this could have easily been on the main card to give some pop and life to that. Because tag team wrestling is excellent. And these three, I mean, it's hard to get much better in the WWE right now, other than the Revival and, the Usos to some extent as well. But it was fun. It was energetic. It was fast paced. The high spots were super awesome. Big men were doing their big men things. So as to be expected, I really, really like it. It definitely felt pay-per-view worthy. And the Viking Raiders, of course, were victorious. So by the end of the kickoff, we were 1-1-1. So they started us off, everyone even. Now, before this pay-per-view actually began, Kurt, did you feel that NXT was going to end up being victorious, or did you think they were going to get put below the other two?
I felt that they were, it was difficult because there was so many different contributing factors. Like, history always shows that, say, somebody like NXT, like a brand that's disregarded as lower, has always done poor. Look at Raw when they've done a clean sweep over SmackDown in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The way NXT looked so strong going into it made me feel, have they built them up so strong to then put them over, and it's as if to put them down and put one of the other shows over to kind of protect him a little bit. And I was pleasantly surprised, like, fast forwarding into the men's match, when somebody got beat by, when Roman Reigns pinned somebody's like, oh, he that shouldn't have happened, he should have pinned. And I was like, no, they built him so well. And he didn't need that pin. And I think they did everything it was realistic and it wasn't too much. And I felt that they had the perfect blend. And for building towards a Wednesday Night War, I think Survivor Series has just put a hell of a lot more eyes to the NXT brand.
Yeah, and that's a great segue, Kirk, because that's what I just was going to ask you how you felt about this. I've seen a lot of chit chat online about the Wednesday Night Wars and how a lot of people are feeling that the reason NXT ended up being victorious was to put more eyes on their product every single Wednesday. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yes, and it's a smart business idea.
Isn't it?
You've got a huge demographic that's getting over 1 million each week comfortably, and you've just put these guys over, made them look absolute stars to your main audience that started. There's sometimes where it was like kind of crickets, and you could tell those. Well, I wouldn't say crickets because you had the hardcore fans at Chicago, but you'd see a change in the crowd where it'd be people. For example, Adam Cole and Pete Dunne. The crowd wasn't as hot as the other matches where it involved main brand guys, but then eventually it got these only Raw and SmackDown fans on board and invested. And now if that was my first time watching, I'd be like, oh shit, I want to see more of that. And I think it's just a perfect way. They've kind of helped it with the invasion, and it's a great way for them to stay on top because they've just blown the roof off the place and had 2 fantastic nights back to back.
Yeah, I mean, they really have. And what a way to kick off Survivor Series and with this Survivor Series traditional elimination match for the ladies, the 5-on-5-on-5. Of course, Team SmackDown, Sasha, Dana, Carmella, Nikki, and Lacey versus Charlotte, Asuka, Kairi, Natalya, and Sarah Logan versus Rhea, Bianca, Io, Candice, and Toni. Woo! What a roster you got right there. And I was so excited after War Games when Rhea was talking to H and picked this team. I believe truly that NXT has the best women's division around right now, other than Impact. Like, for me, those are the top 2, other than Stardom, but Stardom is an all-female promotion, so that doesn't count. It's its own entity in and of itself, and they're awesome. # watch Stardom. But in terms of divisions within a company, I feel like NXT is just showing out. And what a match for them. The only thing, though, Kurt, that I just didn't really like about this was the repeat of what we saw at War Games. So at War Games, we saw Rhea's teammates, one Dakota Kai turns on her best friend, Tegan Nox, and we have this heel turn, which was excellent, by the way. It was beautifully done. And then, of course, those 2 are now out of the match. So Rhea is left, 2 people down, and, oh my God, how is she ever going to win? And then, of course, she does. So I see this happen with Io and Candice, and I'm like, oh, no, not again. We just did this, guys. Why are we doing this again? I hated that. I did like that they came back, but I would have preferred if them and Asuka had come back. Like, I get Asuka was like, F you guys, I'm out. But it also leaves her technically in the match. So if you're going to do it with 2, you kind of, for me at least, for continuity, you should do all 3 and just get her out of there somehow. Like Io could have taken Asuka out or whatever. But it just felt strange in that regard to have it 2 nights in a row. I was wondering how you felt about the repeat on Survivor Series.
Yeah, I had the sour taste as well. I was like, come on, like, don't give Rhea Ripley the Roman Reigns effect already. Like, before, like, she's only just get going. I like the fact, though, and I've got to say, throughout the full roster of NXT, every single person saw the war they've just been through the night before. And I love that. Because in the past, we've seen people either on SmackDown or Raw the week before a pay-per-view, or on a pay-per-view get injured, and then they're running about the place the next night on the next show. And to me, I'm like, nah, come on, some continuity. And all of them had that. So I get why they did it, but yeah, I could have done without it.
I could have as well. Though I think we would be remiss if we didn't, for just a moment, discuss Rhea Ripley. I mean, what a week she had. All of everything that she did this week leading up to War Games and then into Survivor Series. Star is born, man. It's so cool for for people who've been fans for Rhea for a long time to see her completely show out on a WWE pay-per-view, not just NXT or NXT UK. It just to really see her shine, you know, pinning Charlotte, going toe-to-toe with Becky, beating Shayna Baszler, like whatever. And then she comes and kicks serious ass in this match as well. It was just such a delight to see her shine so bright.
23. She's 23 years old. Like,
I know.
That is ridiculous. Like, come WrestleMania 50, she will still be 2 years younger than what Shayna Baszler currently is.
I know. Isn't that wild?
That is ridiculous. That is insane. And it's been, when she first came to NXT UK, I was like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? Come on. And then she won over the crowd. Like, 'cause she wasn't a Brit, and everyone was like, come on, you're creating our own brand, but you're putting over somebody that's never been on the UK scene. And then everybody got to see her and was like, oh, actually, this girl can go. And she helped build that NXT UK brand. She's gone over to America, started killing it there. And to me, she's everything that Becky Lynch should be. With this whole badass, the man sort of persona, Becky Lynch should be what Rhea Ripley's character is. But obviously, it's very micromanaged. It gets, we can sell stuff, so they just make it a slogan and things like that. Whereas Rhea Ripley is actually badass.
Ooh. You know, I agree. And just to, sorry, Becky fans, but Rhea Ripley's also better than Becky in the ring. And it's by leaps and bounds, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's very true, and I feel like that triple threat really exposed her. But anywho, we'll get there later. Rhea, I feel the same way. Kurt, you know me, I don't bullshit nobody. I'll just tell you like it is. But I think for Rhea, she's just, it's such a nice thing to see. She's so young and so talented, and she has the total package. She's got the face, she's got the look, she's got the attitude, she can speak on the mic, she's coherent, and she's believable. And that's exactly what you need. And big time. That's the best part about this match for me. I was so pumped NXT won. And just an enjoyable ladies match all around, I think. Yeah,
it was very good. And like I said, I could watch her and Sasha Banks all day long.
Right.
Out of everybody on the main roster, I like the sequences they was doing on SmackDown. I liked it in the match. And for me, as great as, Becky Lynch is great, Charlotte is great, but for me, I think Sasha Banks is probably the strongest in the ring, maybe on the main roster, well, on Raw and SmackDown. And I think for Rhea Ripley being the bigger woman, they just worked so well together, and that's something I could watch over and over and over again. And again, the same with Charlotte. I could watch Rhea Ripley and Charlotte go at it over and over. So I'm with you. Becky Lynch she's great, don't get me wrong, but she can't lace Rhea's boots.
Totally agree. It's a cool thing to see, so I'm very happy about that. And the next match has been widely called a dream match by many. This is crazy. I'm keep saying it, Kurt, and I'm going to keep saying it until 2019 is over. 2019 is wild. Things you never thought you'd see in WWE. This is one. And AJ Styles, of course, United States champion on Raw versus Roddy Strong, North American champion in NXT, versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the Intercontinental champion on SmackDown. Holy Jesus. This was insane. Insane, right?
Amazing. It was like a Ring of Honor New Japan Tour of the Worlds match. And I must say that's before Ring of Honor became a shit company to work for, clearly. So fuck you, Greg. But yeah, back to the match. Incredible. And I think I couldn't predict it, how it had gone. But my last guess was the outcome. I did not expect the outcome at all.
I didn't either. I was so pleasantly surprised. I truly thought they were going to give it to AJ, and I'm like, wait a minute, who won? What happened? Roddy. Oh, damn. All right, Undisputed, let's go. Because after the night they had at War Games, I was like, oh, shit, we're in trouble. But he was excellent. And, what I loved about this match is twofold. Well, I guess threefold. One, I really loved that Roddy Strong won, and he put out an excellent showcase of just what he's all about. Two, AJ Styles reminded us why he's the phenomenal one. That dude is just one of the best, bar none, and you can at me because we could talk about AJ Styles all day long. And three, this was the first match in a long time where Nakamura looked great. It's been a while since we've been able to see him wrestle like this, and this triple threat, the chemistry, the sparkles, it was all there. Like the pixie dust, whatever happened in this match. It was perfect. Total A from me. And Strong winning was like the cherry on top of a sundae.
Yeah, Nakamura finally looked like Nakamura again.
Right?
I'm being honest. And whilst we're on Nakamura, what's your thoughts on the new title?
Oh, God. All right. Well, I don't dislike it, but I love the white belt. There's just something about the white that has always stood out to me and been so eye-catching and eye-popping, and I've just associated it with that belt for such a long time that I'm like, oh, well, why are we changing it? I'm very confused.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. It's not ugly or anything like that. But I don't know about the black.
It's a really nice belt.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. Maybe that's the best way to put it.
They've changed the only Raw and SmackDown title belt that they didn't need to change.
Yeah.
They could have changed any other belt and it'd have been an improvement.
I agree.
And they changed the one belt that doesn't need to be changed.
Yeah, why didn't they change the United States title? That's the one that needs a serious upgrade.
Or the Universal title, or
that's
the
a
W3
disaster too.
title, or the tag team. Yeah, every title but the IC.
You don't like the tag titles? I like the tag titles.
Yeah.
No, they could be better for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just prefer, like, I don't know. They're okay, but again, if I was to change one thing over the IC, I'd choose the tag titles over the IC to change.
Yeah, oh yeah, me too. I like the way the Intercontinental title looks. The original, the white, not the new one. Well, not the original, but the one that's been used for a long time. So, you know what the other thing that it made me think of? It looks more like a title, like a real, like, expensive, sought-after title than your main championships do. And that, I think, is a mistake.
Yep. It looks a lot like a lot of the British titles over here. It looks a lot like the Progress title, if you've seen that. But yeah,
it does look like that. That's right. Yeah.
It looks more prestigious than every other title they've got on Raw or SmackDown.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Kurt. Coming in clutch. We could go on about titles for a long time, but unfortunately we're not in charge. So we'll just move on to this best match of the night, my match of the night, Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne. Holy Mary. Let's chat real quick. Here's a statement, react. Adam Cole is 2019.
I don't think you can argue. However, however, the only person you could maybe put in that conversation, Will Ospreay.
Yes, I agree. 100%.
I think them two have been the best bout machines this year. 100%.
Without a doubt. I think they've both had meteoric years, like astronomical, out of this world years. The pair of them, absolutely. But for me, I love Will Ospreay a lot as a wrestler. I enjoy his work. I think he's put in a serious amount of work this year. And then you look at Adam Cole and you think about the takeover matches that he's been in. Just those alone.
It's ridiculous.
Never mind the stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Adam Cole has gone to play in Land of the Giants like he belonged.
Yeah,
which he does.
Adam Cole,
belong.
Baby. He does belong, Kurt. You're right.
I think they did a really good job of... To me, Adam Cole, everyone's like, yeah, he's good. But because of all this invasion stuff, everybody's like, nope, they've made Adam Cole look like a megastar now.
Yeah.
This invasion has helped Adam Cole's prestige within the company and how people view it that little bit better, because he stood toe-to-toe with arguably two of the best they've got, with Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, and he's just amazing. Everything he does is fantastic, from the facial expressions to the maneuvers, the way he speaks, the way he carries himself. Everything's executed fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine beating Daniel Bryan, facing off with Seth Rollins, getting attacked by the OC, winning that freaking ladder match, by the way, beating a whole bunch of other people, competing in War Games, and then going into this match with Pete Dunne on Survivor Series. Are you kidding me? After that spot him and Ciampa did at War Games, I expected him to just be like, okay, let's just get this over with fast. They put in some serious work in this match. Complete A. Even though his ribs were totally taped, and you would have thought that he just had one match the night before and was hurt. Never mind the whole week that he had. And what an enjoyable, exciting, hard-hitting contest between these two.
I loved it. And it goes back to my other statement where NXT told such a great story of carrying their injuries because they've been to war.
That's right.
Can you imagine how good Adam Cole vs. Pete Dunne 2 will be when neither of them are selling an injury?
Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable. And this is what they're injured, please.
Yep.
Please. I can't. It's just it's madness, and it's going to be excellent. I agree. Cole versus Dunne 2 is going to be an excellent one, but this just had some serious grit, kind of just that hellish physical battle between them two. What a gutsy. I mean, he's like, is he the Terminator? Is he just like not human? Like, how do you even do that? It's unbelievable.
That Panama Sunrise on the apron.
Oh, God.
Ouch.
Yeah, I said ouch, and what didn't even happen to me. But man, he's Adam Cole, baby, is I don't know. I saw that statement, Adam Cole is 2019, and I couldn't argue. I have to say it's probably undisputed.
I like it.
Aside from Will Ospreay, but yes. So, as if we didn't have any other chances to breathe, now we're rolling into this craziness with Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend. I mean, for me, in this match, I knew The Fiend was going to win. However, this was, for me, The Fiend's best match, bar none, since returning from injury. And obviously, since he's been champion. I think this was the first time that he's competed that someone wasn't totally scared of him. That Daniel Bryan was like, you want crazy? All right, let's go. I got mental instability. Let's do it. That's what he said. So let's go. All right, so let's go. And he was just phenomenal. This was a not so subtle reminder of how goddamn awesome Daniel Bryan is. And we haven't seen him in such a high caliber, big stakes match in a long while. Yeah, he was tagging and champion and stuff. I don't really count that. I mean, just singles, regular Daniel Bryan. And this was something to see. It wasn't my favorite match of the night, but definitely was up there. I enjoyed it. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm the biggest lover of the red light, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I think
Tell me.
I think it takes a lot away from the match. Like, I think I get why they do it, but I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I felt Bray looked absolutely fantastic. I like the fact that Daniel Bryan did punish him and it made him look strong, but they didn't go over the top like Seth Rollins did.
Right.
Which I really liked as well. It's going to be interesting to see where they go. I liked what they did a little bit earlier, where it was actually The Miz being nice to Daniel Bryan for a change. And it'd be interesting. I think The Fiend would be the perfect person to bring the Warrior out of The Miz.
Oh.
I think Miz has been known for somebody that shies away from fights, and you've been seeing him have a little bit more fight in him recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially the way he did with Tommaso Ciampa.
Right.
I think it could be the perfect time, and I'm not saying the Miz should beat him. I won't be mad against that. I love the Miz. But I think it'd be the great time to make Miz be a warrior, to have such heart, and to make people respect him.
Oh, that is very interesting. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, what now? We really have TLC in pretty short order on December the 15th. So, like, okay, where do we go? How do we build someone in 3 weeks? Solidly.
Triple threat.
Triple threat, maybe? Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Keep the Fiend strong. He doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
take the pin. Maybe somebody else like gets involved or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So then the Fiend can go do their thing away from the title again.
Right.
And then got Miz and Bryan.
Mm.
They should have done a long time ago as a proper feud for the main title.
Yes, a real feud instead of the wives feud and all that craziness that they booked that so poorly. I felt like they could have done so much better justice to this rivalry. That would be cool to see them both in the title picture again. We'll see if they pull the trigger on that one. But the next match was the men's version of the traditional Survivor Series elimination match, the 5-on-5-on-5, in which we had Team Raw led by Rollins. They had KO, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Ricochet versus Team SmackDown, Roman Reigns, King Corbin, Chad Gable, Mustafa Ali, and Braun Strowman. And Team NXT, which was announced just before the show with Tommaso Ciampa, Walter, Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee. So shall we get the elephant out of the room first, Kurt?
Go for it.
How do you feel about Walter being eliminated straight away?
I have conspiracies over this.
Okay, talk to us.
Walter didn't really want to sign for WWE. Not like it wasn't a massive goal for him. He turned him down once before because he didn't really want to leave Germany.
Mm-hmm.
From different people that I know in the UK, people have mentioned he may not be overly happy with WWE, and that once his contract's up, he may not re-sign unless WWE offers a lot of money. That can always change opinions. He did a spot in OTT where David Starr stood on the WWE United Kingdom Championship. That wasn't approved by WWE.
Oh.
And basically WWE was like, hey, here's more money, don't let it happen again.
Interesting.
I was recently at NXT UK TV tapings. It was the last set of TV tapings going into NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2. And I felt like they, for what they've done on SmackDown, Imperium didn't go over, kind of looked a bit weak on SmackDown or Raw, which it was. NXT UK, it ended with Gallus giving out Christmas cards with Walter dressed up as a Santa. They let Seth Rollins give him the nickname Jolly Wally, which they played on NXT UK TV tapings. And now you're jobbing Walter out straight away. Could it be a case that Walter's not signing because you know WWE don't like it when the toys are leaving?
That's true.
So it's all these little things. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But it's just from the Jolly Wally to the Christmas cards to Imperium losing quite easily on either Raw or SmackDown, and then Walter getting eliminated straight away. It's all a bit, yeah. It's not encouraging, to say the least.
Wow. Well, you heard it here first, people, on Queen's Court. Direct from Kurt. We got some theories going on. Geez, that's very interesting. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. For me, not knowing any of that kind of stuff, I just thought it was a mistake. You know, you've built this man to just be completely unstoppable, unbeatable, unpinnable, and now you just ruin it? I just didn't understand why, but now that you give me some context, very interesting. That for me kind of ruined this match. I was like, ugh. Plus, I don't really like a lot of the people involved. So
yeah, me neither. Who was it that pinned him? Was it McIntyre?
McIntyre eliminated him. Yes, indeed.
The only way it works is that if Walter defends at NXT UK Takeover 2, McIntyre hits him with a Claymore.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's the only way they'll
there's
save
a reason it's McIntyre.
Yep.
So they can play it that way. That was my immediate reaction. After the match ended and I thought about it a little bit more, I'm like, ooh, if they play it like he's going to go over there to try to challenge for the title or do something to mess with him, then I can see that. Especially that's why they would do it.
Yeah, especially considering Imperium are feuding with Gallus, which are free Scotsmen.
Right. So he could show up and do that. That could be interesting. I guess, we'll see. But ultimately here, Team SmackDown defeated Raw and Team NXT. I don't think we said Cole won, but he won. I forgot to say that. Whoops. That's okay. So now we move into this WWE Championship match, if you will, the semi-main event, the just before main event. I'm really glad that this didn't main event, but I have some thoughts about the women as well. We'll get there. But first we had, of course, the WWE Champion Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio for the title. Did you see Rey's gear? Any thoughts on that?
It was like Joker inspired.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like his inspired outfits, to be honest. But maybe go a little bit more serious when you're stepping in the ring with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I didn't understand why. I like his themes as well. Those are some of my favorite Rey. The question mark was my favorite Rey. But I don't understand, why. Why are you the Joker in this scenario?
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out. What does it all mean? Especially with the whole Cain Velasquez thing and his son. I don't know. And then his son comes out with the towel. What is this? AEW Dynamite?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh my God, MJF. What the hell? I was laughing hysterically after that.
Yeah.
What did you think of the towel scenario and Dominic running to his dad's defense?
I thought it was a bit tongue-in-cheek by WWE.
I thought so too.
We're not wasting a title match by a towel throw, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was tongue-in-cheek, personally.
I think you're right. But, actually, I really liked this match. I enjoy in general when Brock fights smaller guys. I think he just performs way, way better, as evidenced by his matches with Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins and who's not really that small either, but smaller than him, and AJ Styles and even Finn Balor. I thought it was great in that respect. It was a typical Lesnar match in that way. Rey got some offense in. The angle with Dominic, of course, comes to play as we mentioned. But what did you think about this match as it played out?
I really enjoyed the bits with Dominic, to be honest. Mm-hmm. It made me believe Rey could actually win.
Gave you that feel-good, hope, right?
Yeah, that double 619, the two frog splashes. And fair play to Dominic. He hit both of them fantastically. His chair shot to Lesnar looked great. And props to Lesnar. He made Rey Mysterio look like a believable challenger.
Sure.
He's helped set the foundations for Dominic's WWE career. And everybody's quick to slate Lesnar. I think he needs to be complimented on that.
I do too, I feel like a lot of people don't give him credit for how well he sells. When Brock puts in that work, he sells like a complete champ, pun intended.
Look at him with Samoa Joe. He was fantastic in that feud with Samoa Joe and selling that. And yeah, he's fantastic, and it made me think that they was gonna win. But then as soon as he kicked out, I was like, nah, it's done now. Lesnar's winning. And I thought it was a fantastic end, catching him in the F5 like that.
Yeah, I thought that was an excellent finish and very believable match. Like we said, Rey coming in, you just thought for just a second, just a glimmer of hope, right? They hit that double 619. Oh, maybe he will win the championship. His son will be there. It's in the same arena he won it the first time. That's crazy. And then, Brock Lesnar retains. So I thought overall it was a good match and wasn't disappointed. So, hey, I know Brock is very controversial, and myself, I have a very love-hate relationship with Brock Lesnar. But Brock draws, and people like him, and they like to hate him as well. So I don't know what else we could say about that one, Kurt.
No, I think in terms of storytelling, they knocked out the park.
Yeah, I agree. Completely. But that leads us into our last and final match of the evening, which was a triple threat, Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler versus Bayley. All right, I'm going to let you go first. Talk to me about this match.
Could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Shayna Baszler's fantastic. She was the high point for the match for me. There was just, I don't know, there was something missing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it lived up to the hype. I don't know if it's just because of the dynamic of a triple threat, maybe. Or it might have been because it was a long show. I'm not too sure. But Shayna getting the win was the perfect thing, in my opinion, and by submission as well. So it's going to be interesting the way they've kind of built her back up straight away after getting pinned by Rhea Ripley. But what's next for Becky Lynch and Bayley after not over Queen Shayna?
I know. It's very interesting, isn't it? So I got a couple things to say here. I think a combination of issues were happening. It was the end of the night. I feel like the crowd was a little bit gassed. They were a little bit of a strange crowd anyway. They're normally very, very hot. And in spots they were, but in other spots I thought they were oddly quiet. It was very strange, and this was one of them. They were a little quiet here, and I was a little confused. So the thing I wanted to say first about the ladies was I thought that Bayley, for me at least, was the undisputed workhorse of this match. But the heat was really between Lynch and Baszler. They set it up that way with that promo. And they said it both by saying, well, yeah, we'll keep an eye on Bayley, but it's really about you and me. And from there, I think they screw themselves over in that respect. Bayley had her moment to answer that, but I don't think it ever really clicked. I think people are struggling with her as a heel. They're not really sure what type of heel she is. It's kind of wishy-washy in some spots. And I think people, excuse me, I think people are struggling with that. And the heat was really between Lynch and Baszler. And I don't know. I don't know what it really truly is, but I think it has something to do with those two things.
Yeah. Like I said, there was just something missing from that match. And yeah, it was quite underwhelming, and I think that's why I said when it comes to like Rhea Ripley's opponents, like Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, I think has Becky Lynch peaked? Has she let the foot off the gas a little bit?
I think this was the first time in a while, this promo with Shayna and this build towards this pay-per-view, I think was the first time since Mania that she's been hot, like the man again. Yep. I feel like in the time between Mania and now, it's been a lot of the same repetitive stuff, and she was in terrible feuds. I think a lot of her weaknesses were exposed when she was fighting Lacey. Lacey's, in my opinion, just not ready for the main roster in any type of way. I think she's still very green and in a lot of ways dangerous to other people she wrestles. And I think for Becky, when she's in matches with people who are excellent workers, she puts out her best work. She struggles with people who aren't. And in this match, she had two that were great. You know, Bayley has her own character issues, but she's great in the ring. And Baszler is Baszler, and I feel like Becky looked the weakest of the three here. And did she peak? I think so. I think she hit her hottest point with the man. I still think she's talented on the mic. I still think she does great things. I know they have her as the face of the company right now, but in terms of the women, I don't know. The crowd seems to be kind of hot and cold with her. Sometimes they really love her. Other times they're like, oh, where'd the man go? I don't know. It's a very interesting dynamic. You know, us fans too, sometimes we're a little bit fickle, but I feel like I was trying to give her a shot after Mania. It's been several months since April, and I haven't felt like it's gotten back to where it was previous to Mania until now.
Yeah, I agree. The stuff with Shayna and even the stuff with Rhea Ripley on NXT where Rhea was like, so you're the man? Show me you've got a pair of balls and stuff. It was those instances where I was like, ooh, this is going to be good. This is going to be exciting. It's not something where it used to be exciting, now it's still, or like Lacey Evans, where they're just not ready for that sort of push.
Yeah.
It was kind of backtracking a little bit, though, going back to, I think we should talk about Keith Lee's performance.
Oh, you know, I totally forgot, and I did not mean to. I'm so sorry, Keith Lee. Please do.
I think, and that was the person I was referring to later on, where Roman Reigns pinned Keith Lee to win the match. And I think that was the perfect outcome because it wasn't over pushing. Because I think Keith Lee won't be facing Adam Cole just yet. But it's one of those where you can not put him against Adam Cole if he pins Roman Reigns. I think Keith Lee won't be on NXT for much longer. I think Raw or SmackDown will use him. And everybody talks about Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar. They want to see that match. Give me Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar.
Ooh, yeah. Now that would be sweet. I think Keith Lee, Adam Cole, Shayna Baszler, Rhea really put on the NXT showcase this weekend, but specifically at Survivor Series. And I could watch Roman fight Keith Lee for a longer match. Like that's something I'd like to see and would enjoy it. Yes. And I would love to see him versus Brock Lesnar. It'd be very interesting because he's not your normal big man, right? He's pretty agile. If you saw his leapfrog on War Games, you'd be shocked. If you haven't, go watch it. It's pretty crazy.
He was basically Brock Lesnar like 10 years ago.
Indeed. Yeah. Oh, I can see that.
Like Brock used to be super athletic, and then he didn't need to be.
Right.
So there was no point trying to do all these fancy maneuvers. But all I can see is Keith easily powering out of Brock and then just giving him that powerbomb or something like that. Oh, I want it. Give me Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar.
Well, let's go. We may just get it. We may just get it, Kurt. We may get the nice things in 2020. We never know. We just never know what might happen in this business. That's for sure. But what were your overall final thoughts about SmackDown Survivor Series?
Really well done. The results were very surprising at times. I think they got nearly every result right. I think the triple threat for like Strong, Shinsuke, and Styles, that could have gone any way, really. And for me, it was that or Cole and Dunn that was man of the match. Like they stole it. They stole the show. Those two matches, in my opinion. But I have to agree with what you said. Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler, Adam Cole, Keith Lee, and hell, even Tommaso Ciampa in the build-up. I think they've proven that they're going to be megastars.
I think so too. NXT put the real stamp. They're the real story of Survivor Series. And I love that they won. I was so excited. I'm glad it wasn't a clean sweep. like we had last Survivor Series when Raw won everything except for the one match on the pre-show. So I'm glad it wasn't that. I'm glad that we got, wins in for everybody. Raw took the most, losses. So that I thought was interesting. And I'm looking forward to what's going to come next for NXT. I've been loving what they've been doing recently. It just feels hot again. It feels like it used to feel. And that's the thing that I'm taking away from Survivor Series. But man, buddy, it has been an absolute pleasure chit-chatting with you about Survivor Series. What a fun pay-per-view and what a fun time breaking it down with a friend. So thank you so much for joining me on Queen's Court. Please let the people know where they can find you, what you got upcoming, and about your shows.
Oh, thank you. So you can find myself at Kate Johansson 93. Tend to message there if you are wanting to collab. I tend to share everything that I'm doing on that Twitter account as well. And yeah, you can see me every week. Well, see or hear me every week at Ringsider Pod. Or head over to my new baby, Kate's Angle Pod. Now, I know the name is fantastic. It was one where I got proposed it a few times. I was like, it's a bit cheesy. And I thought, you know what? I'm embracing it. So yeah, you can find me at Kate's Angle Pod. And my first episode that I released was an interview with La Mera Mera, NWA's Thunder Rosa. So we talk everything about her career. Or head over to Ringsider and you can check out my latest interview as part of a WWE press interview with the Kiwi buzzsaw Travis Banks from NXT UK.
Wow, look at you go, Kurt.
I'm back, baby.
You back, baby. You back and you better. Yes. I love it. Well, thanks again. And my dear listeners in the States, it is Thanksgiving. So from me to you, happy Thanksgiving. You'll hear at the beginning of this episode, of course, my thanks excitement that I give you in the intro. I just want to reiterate that again, how thankful I am for 2019 and for all of you. So as always, my dear ones, please enjoy the rest of your day. Eat that turkey, watch that American football, and please be kind to one another.